Morning, how's it going? Sorry, I almost forgot to put on some music here. This seems to be the one I keep using. All right. How's everybody doing today? I think we're going to be underlighting this guy today. Eh. How's it going? Okay. Good to see you. All right. Well, now we're finally getting Gun Show into the fight here, and we find out that his power doesn't have anything to do with guns, or like not, not firearms. It's more metaphorical guns because he has flexing powers. So I mean, it's going to take a bit before I get to drawing that, but let's see here. So yeah, this is something I came up with. I think when I first came up with the comic, actually, where he would have a fight with a dude named Gun Show, where they would have a fight with a dude named Gun Show, and he would do like he's gonna do like Hulk Hogan flexes, but like for different attacks, where one's like an AOE, one's more like a shield, one's more like shooting shit down kind of thing. Like when he does the Hulk Hogan point with the one arm, the one bicep flex, and the other arm pointing. That's like a laser hand blaster kind of thing. So we gotta do this right and do like some build up. It's the kind of thing where like I'm like, okay, is this too dumb? And then I kept writing it. It's like, oh well, this is what's in the comic, I guess. And I actually wrote into the comic like an explanation for why this works. But I've decided I'm not actually going to put that in the comic. It's the kind of thing like if I'm asked later, I'll have a pat answer at least, but not important for the comic here. And the pat answer is that he actually doesn't have any superpowers that have to do with muscles or anything. He's actually telekinetic. So it's just more of like a concentration thing. And he probably doesn't know that that's what the deal is. He thinks he does have flex powers. I honestly have never read Flex Mentallo. So I don't know how that works. I guess it is just coincidence then. I don't know anything about it. I've heard it's a Keith Giffen thing, right? And that he used it, and it was like a satire thing as well, right? So like I could definitely see how that would work out, but no, not intentionally referencing at all. Oh, okay. Um, well, Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley were a lot later to the game than Keith Giffen was, weren't they? Let me see here. And by a lot later, I mean like, 10 years or whatever. But because I think mid 80s, Grant Morrison is still establishing himself. Oh, it's 1996. Oh, I had no idea. I thought it was around like the blah ha ha era or something, which is another thing I don't really know a lot about, but except that I've heard it was called the blah ha ha era. Okay, I thought it was much much earlier than that. Okay. think we want to make him a little bit bigger. And just everything's just like straight on angles in this so far. It's like, okay, this is gonna be a very easy page. Posing as a muscle mage. Okay. Oh shit, that is very similar to what mine does. Okay. Oh well. So who's, yeah, is that the one that, okay, fair enough. Lex Mentallo, Man of Muscle Mystery, okay. This one is, yeah, Frank Quitely and Grant Morrison. I was sure that was a Keith Giffen thing, like earlier on. We're gonna try and get a whole bunch of veins going on in this one. Okay, yeah, that is a bit of a direct kind of ripoff. Yeah. Well, I don't think about whether these are original ideas or not, because generally they're not. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that this, yeah, no, this is something somebody else has come up with as a parody thing. That makes a lot of sense now thinking about it. Now I feel like I should hunt down those Flex Mentallo issues. See if I can maybe slightly avoid some of the stuff that's going on there. I have a feeling if it's, Grant Morrison, Frank, well, it's going to be a fair bit more imaginative than mine, which is just that he flexes and shoots things, essentially. little bit more to the side there. It sounds like fun. It sounds like more fun than a Grant Morrison book usually is, to be honest. From my experience, anyway. I haven't read a ton of Grant Morrison, but I haven't read a ton of anybody. But except for Garth Ennis, essentially. We have to go for maximum striation here. That was like the start of the joke. Was like somebody doing a big old like AOE flex, and people being like thrown away, going "Arg, the striation," Hey Chuck, how's it going, buddy? Oh, it's all meta. Okay, yeah, it's not quite the same kind of fun, but oh well. See, I like it to have like like sure it can have some commentary and stuff. I like it to just be like silly, but have its own in-world logic, and like that's just how that world operates. Turn these arms in a little bit more, I think. I've never heard of curse words though. It's an image comic, okay. Ryan Brown. I've never heard of these creators either. All right. I should really have just an anatomy thing open for this because this is essentially going to be just like one of those illustrations where it's just the muscle groups, like the guy's skinned. Although it should be more like bodybuilder stuff, I guess. He is indeed doing the Hulk Hogan flex. He's going to be doing a couple of Hulk Hogan flexes. So, to refresh memories, this is the character called Gun Show. And this is the panel where we find out he's not called Gun Show because of firearms. I have to try and stray away from like the lightning coming from his. Kind of want to do like Walt Simonson energy signature stuff coming off him. Trying to think of where that would have been in something that I have. I don't know if I have too much. Yeah, that was how I explained it earlier. He's going to do a lot of Hulk Hogan flexes. Did I put out? I didn't. I don't think I did put out the X-Men annual thing yet, did I? Shoot. Maybe Fantastic Four 352. Trying to think. This is the time fight episode. You know what it would have been in was Fantastic Four 354 when they're fucking up the TVA, but I don't have that one currently. I do plan to get it eventually. I don't know if this is the best one for this. I don't think so. Yeah, I have like one issue of Orion. I don't know where it is. No, this isn't the right one for this. Shoot. Okay, well, you know what? I know he did use it in that first issue of the when they were recruiting the Fantastic Four. Or the Avengers, rather. So there should be something in this one that I can use, I think. Yeah, and I don't have any Walt Simonson Thor, unfortunately. I'd rather, you know, I guess I can pull it up as like a reference, like on the Google image search or something. But I'd rather just have something right here I can look at. Yeah, not the best. Oh, there's that kind of thing, and then just do more speed lines coming in and out of it, I guess. Man, this fucking story was wild. Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay. You know what actually would have been is probably a good idea is Cyberforce number 0. I think he does a lot of it in that. which one I'm going to use for a circle template on this. Maybe nothing. Yeah, me too. I find my lack of Simonson disturbing. Yes, I'm a late Simonson convert. I kind of came at the wrong time into comics. Early '91, he was just finishing up his FF run. I didn't find out about the Thor run for I think probably a couple of years, and by the time I was making it a priority to buy, it was like starting to get too expensive to buy a bunch of them. At least to read like casually anyway, you know. It's the kind of thing I'd like to, get at some point now, but now I have to like do it kind of judiciously because again, now it's far more expensive. It should probably be around here somewhere. It's kind of thing like every once in a while, it's like, man, I wish I could go back in time and just like, because this is what I go back in time for, is go to a comic store and pick up a bunch of like very important comics for cheap. Yeah, that's part of the appeal, I think, of the revisit series is that I like to go through the whole thing, including like you flip through the ads and everything, because like yeah, some of those are like, oh shit, I remember that one. You get like the Marvel cards ads and everything. Yeah, the countless Dungeons and Dragons ads. Yeah, no. I mean, I guess in my case, I'm kind of lucky because a lot of the comics I liked when I was a kid were shit. So most of them are still pretty cheap. I was able, in fact, focusing on Image, I was able to get almost all of the early Image comics for pretty inexpensive because they printed the hell out of those things. But like, yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to go back and get like all the good ones. I can get them in trade paperback form, which I did with a few comics, but I'm not a fan of buying like omnibuses and shit like that. Hey, Carbon, how's it going, buddy? No, I understand that. Like, I hate the idea of missing a like a key issue. It's like, man, that was the most important issue to get. Like, but I really like to get the floppies of them instead. Again, part of them because of the channel. I want to go through a floppy from beginning to end and have everything in there that was in the original. If I'm doing a graphic novel, that's one thing. Then that's how it was designed, and it's not a big deal to do it as and I mean, then you can do like reprints. It doesn't even really matter because its ads aren't even really a big part of it. But now for day to day, I prefer to do the floppies. Just, I don't know, much more satisfying. Yeah, yeah, you can always read it online. And I'm not really. I'm not a guy who would like go and look for issues that are expensive. Like, I won't bother saving up for them usually. I'll just read them online or get them in a trade or something. Except I'd really like to be able to talk about them on the channel sometimes. And for that, no, I do want to get the floppy. So there's been the odd one that, and I mean, like, expensive for me is just like over like $20. It almost never happens. There's enough comics out there for $5 or less that I haven't covered that are I think a big deal to check out. It's like, the $20 ones aren't much of a priority. I'm starting to get there though. But because like I have to order all my comics, I do not have a comic store anywhere near me. The one comic store that is like I can get to and back from in a day, uh, I think I've pretty much cleaned them out for useful back issues. And by back issues, I mean anything pre like 2010. That was weird going to a comic shop and looking through their back issue bins and finding stuff from like 2017 or whatever. It's like, oh fuck yeah, no, I guess the last 30 years happened, didn't they? I'm gonna have to figure out this panel a little bit after. I'm still not sure what I want to do with that. I just kind of have an idea of what's gonna have to go in there. Can I do the big swirly here? Yeah, kind of. Okay, I'm gonna find that glove again. There we go. I don't want to smear everything already. And I have to put a whole bunch of extra rendering on everything so that when I go over it with whiteout for the veins, it becomes very apparent. This is like an important part of the strategy on this. This thing's just about dead. Is this the O2 I've been using? How's this almost dead? Weird. Oh, like just so like speed lines coming out and then yeah, okay, for like power coming up, yeah. I'm not sure if I'm interpreting that right, but yeah, that's the point. But getting all plat with it, because I had that plat issue last week, and it was like perfect timing. It's like, yes, no, this is how you do it right. I got to remember how to when I get to this fight here. Yeah. No, there isn't any real right or wrong for this. It's just, can I make it look cool? That's the only real objective. For instance, I don't know that this expression is particularly cool, but I'm enjoying it personally. Am I getting any lines out of this whatsoever? There we go. Let's see here. Absolutely. I mean, like, you don't see enough people trying for the plaid anymore. I think that has to change. Well, I'm not claiming I can reach plaid standards, but it's more of like an endless ideal, right? Something you can always strive towards. I was thinking earlier, like, oh man, this page is going to be too quick to draw because it's just figures and a couple of faces, and man, I can do that easily. Not if you're hyper rendering everything, which I think is what is going. I did end up smearing this after all. That's okay. You can fix it fairly easily at this point. Oh man, this is going to be such a mess. I'm just kind of realizing how I'm going to have to do this, at least with or probably anyway. I think there'll be a bit of changing from muscle group to muscle group, but yeah, I think there's going to be a whole lot of ink obscuring this. You're gonna have to really separate the muscle groups here, I think, so it doesn't become like a haze of gray. Oh, for Christ's sake, light source. I don't think this is that kind of day. At first, he's going to be underlit, and then it's more like no, it's just going to be maximum amount of rendering, really, and it feels like each muscle is going to be its own light source at this point. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to kind of see how it goes still. Like everything has its own inner light, essentially. Don't worry, I do not consider myself an artist. You will never see me taking this seriously. Not that kind of seriously, anyway. I'm using too much O3 on this, actually. Thinking about it, I should be using way more O2. The only problem is my O2 is almost like giving up the ghost here. How's that looking? Fun? It's like, okay. It's hard not to just like look at a specific muscle and be like, so wait, how did this muscle turn out? It's like, no, it's going to be like part of a main. It's all going to be one big drawing eventually, hopefully. But let's see here. I feel like I'm getting somewhere with this. Bit more blending. This needs to be fixed up a little bit. I keep changing my mind on which pens I want to use. Maybe this is like my definitive work. Now let's see here. Nope, not you. You need to go to the side so I don't accidentally keep picking you. Anybody else been watching it? X-Men 97? Because I have not personally. I watched the first one and I was like, yeah, no, that was pretty good. And then I just didn't watch it again. Part of it is I'm not a fan of the hype going on with it. I did like what they were doing in that first episode, at least, like where they got Cyclops flying all across the room with his eye blast. That's some cool shit. It's like shit. I can't remember Cyclops ever doing anything cool. But I feel like you've got to be I don't know, maybe don't have to be, but it really helps to have been a fan of the cartoon back in the day, which I really wasn't. So this thing's gonna be so fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. Do we want to do some test veins on this arm here? I kind of do. Just have something to work towards. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so that'll need some touching up with some ink. But I think we can turn that into some cool looking veins and shit. Yeah, I think it looks all right. I just have to keep my hand off that part of the drawing because otherwise it'll smear it. That was the one part I didn't think about too much. Hey, buddy, how's it going? We're getting ridiculous today. Okay, so now, how long is that? That was like an hour to do basically that arm plus a little bit extra. And so now you get to do it on the other arm, I guess. Oh yeah, no, no, absolutely. I was there was you I was using as a reference. So kind of realizing that you don't need to go subtle with the muscles on here if you're going to be covering everything in rendering and then uh, vascularity. Totally just break up all the muscles into component pieces and then just have at her. I'm glad it's coming across right away. The plat thing. Everybody's kind of noticing it. It's like, yes, that is the point. Good. There's no second guessing really on that one. Well, we know how much Chris Ware he can't help himself when it comes to like vascularity. He's like, just ahead of Chester Brown when it comes to that. Chris Ware's the Acme Novelty Library guy, right? Yes. Okay. So yeah, big independent artist from like mostly the 90s and 2000s is when he kind of made his name. Very much not into this sort of thing. And hey, Steele, how's it going? Yeah, we're going a little nuts with the Platinus in this one. Well, like I've flirted with going with the Platt kind of panel from time to time, but never really went all out with it. And now it's just like, no, now's the time. All right, by all means. I honestly never looked at much Chris Ware myself. When it comes to the googling names, I mean, sorry. My buddy Jay there, he's a fan. A lot of people are. It's not Chester Brown. Who's the guy I always confuse with Chester Brown, who did Black Hole? uh, Charles Burns. Yep. Thank you. Well, I nothing. I'm not selling this page for anything just yet. I need to wait for it to increase in value. So need to let the legend get out there first. And like I wasn't a huge, but like getting back to like I have a copy of Black Hole. I wasn't a huge fan of the story in that. It's like it's okay, but I don't relate to it. But it's Charles Burns, and the inking is otherworldly, right? Yeah. All right, no, that's good. That's we can have a discussion, or I can have a discussion, I suppose. No, that is true. Well, I mean, okay, with Stephen Platt, it was very much a case of he was like 22, and he did have a whole bunch of stuff he had to iron out of his system. Like his figure work it's a lot of fun, but it's not exactly what you would call accurate, or I don't know, just like like there's a even if you were going for a ridiculous ideal, there's a lot of inconsistencies. And obviously, as he's gotten older and become a teacher, I think he did like art school stuff for a while, which is like, man, I'd take that class if he was teaching how to draw like mid 90s Stephen Platt. Shit, yeah. But yeah, obviously he learned a whole lot about, and that everything really, anatomy, lighting, perspective, etc. And it just kind of leached away all the things that made him him. So that's an example of just too much knowledge not being good for you. I would have been totally cool with the mid 90s style, but just like slowly becoming more, a bit more where it made sense proportionate to itself, or even stylized it more. But like instead he learned a lot more about the fundamentals and then just became a better artist, which meant, losing track of everything that made him interesting. He's extremely good now. I don't know if he'll ever do another comic or anything. That'll be all right. And Jay Lee's style is just weird. Okay. Yeah, like 90s raw Jay Lee is a product of uh trying of speed, basically trying to get as many pages out as possible. From what I understand, he was producing close to like 8 pages a day when he was working for Marvel and on like Namor and shit like that. And when you're, like, so like his pages have an insane amount of energy, but probably not very satisfying artistically to produce as the years went on. And like one of the main things Jay Lee's good at these days is coming up with an interesting composition, which, that's like one of the things that just 20-year-old Jay Lee didn't have a handle on. He could come up with a cool image, but like it wasn't like, man, that it wouldn't evoke any kind of feeling other than that makes a good poster. Yeah, yeah. No, a lot of them when they learn, well, because it's like what was the point of them drawing like that? Maybe to get attention, and yeah, it's fun and everything, but it's not. I don't know. I guess it speaks to like a lot of the stuff that makes them interesting is stuff that they don't necessarily like about their art, and like if they had a choice, they probably would have ironed out, and then over the years they learn how to, and then you go, oh shit, you didn't want to do it that way. Well, fuck, you know. Whereas this feels like what I've been working towards all those years. This is my apotheosis. I kind of get the Scotty Young thing. I didn't realize it was a craze, but it's nice stuff. It's very graphic. It's very much like it's very much in line with the clean line cartooniness. It's kind of taken it to an extreme, but and not as clean, I guess. But did Platt's relationship with Liefeld cause him to distance himself from the extreme lifestyle? I think it caused him to distance himself from comics. I know he thought. I mean, for one thing, he thought he was Mobius, where he could produce. He could take however long he wanted to produce what he considered his art. Like capital A. And it's like, well, no, we do have to sell these actually. And then he went like self-published and was able to work at his own pace, which is why he only produced like 4 or 5 issues. And then, from what I understand, I think Hollywood snapped him up. And oh fuck yeah, yeah. Liefeld and Platt, they still don't like each other very much. I think Liefeld is mostly willing to bury the hatchet, probably in the hopes of maybe like working together with him at some point, because that would make huge money, which is what Liefeld's all about. Platt apparently has absolutely no interest in doing that whatsoever. I'm just seeing these on the screen. These arms are fucking insane. Yes, that was a big thing I heard, was that Platt would like basically walk into this Extreme studio and shit talk everybody and say that his stuff was much better than any of theirs, and they weren't anywhere, like they weren't in his league, kind of thing. I think part of the problem is that he was right. But like that's not his fault. I mean, that's not his problem. That's Liefeld for not getting better artists. But yeah, he had absolutely no humility whatsoever. Apparently, he thought he was going to be amazing forever. And and it didn't help that Liefeld used him as often as he could on covers to help sell books better. And he was paying him $40,000 an issue. And it's like, who else is earning that, even in 1995 or whenever? Like, I would be a little surprised if he wasn't like the highest paid artist in 1995. depending on what you define an artist as, like not including guys who own their own studios like Jim Lee, Eric Larson, etc. And he's like, 22, 23 maybe. And yeah, that's probably another thing is that there's conflicting rock star personalities. And Rob had to play the boss card, which is not something he was used to doing because Platt was taking so long on everything. He would take months on shit. When you got to get theoretically, you got to try and get a book out every month or every two or something like that. You got to have some kind of schedule. And yeah, he would take months, and like Rob would be like, "Yo, dude, we're paying you 40 grand for this. You kind of have to produce something." And he'd stop by the studio and see what kind of progress he was making, and then see that he was working on something for like 3 issues from now, like some double page spread for three issues from now that had nothing to do with the book that was already overdue, But that was what he felt like drawing that day, and he was an arty man, right? Oh yeah, I mean, Turner was able to get his own studio going too, right? Not too long after, like Witchblade just blew up fucking huge. There's details to this guy's suit that I think I'm intentionally leaving out because it would interfere with the musculature and vascularity. Yeah, the Aspen thing. Yeah. Well, because you got super famous on Witchblade, and then he was able to parlay that into his own studio, and then he did Fathom, and then spun that off and did that fairy thing, Soulfire, which I have and haven't really touched on because it's not a kind of style I can relate to. It's because he doesn't use ink in a lot of it, right? It's mostly computer colors or painting or something. Yeah. It would have been very, very cool to see where Nick Manabat went because he was so young. Like that was nowhere near his final form, I suppose. We can talk dead people. Don't have to talk about it for too long, but there's just not a lot to say with Nick Manabat. He was very good and yeah, died young. Well, yeah, that might be a little bit too morose. We can talk more about how Stephen Platt's a dick. That's a bit more fun. Although I haven't heard anything about him being a dick these days, but would any of us be shocked? Okay, so how am I actually gonna crosshatch this now? I was never really a fan of the Michael Turner style for women, personally. I think it always felt like he liked weird aliens. I guess it's like a beauty ideal. The the super long legs and super skinny and super poofy lips, all that shit, But it's like abstracted to the form where, yeah, it didn't feel like people so much anymore. That is a good point. Being a dickhead ego comic artist is funny because it's like you go out into the wider world and it's like, okay, so what are you when you go get your groceries? Do you think you're a superstar then? Ah, we did get back to Flex Mentallo. I apparently he does have similar powers to Flex Mentallo. I never read Flex Mentallo. It's kind of it does seem to be purely coincidental. And okay, let me in on that. So, which makes me think I should probably be reading some Flex Mentallo at some point. Hey Montoya, how you doing, buddy? Oh, who were Turner and them out doing the big two? I don't know how big they were on character development. I always got the impression they were just kind of TNA merchants, but or Turner was anyway. Where and go obviously not so much. I mean, it is weird personally coming from because when I stopped collecting Image, in like '94, I think. I went to the indies, independents, and like small press stuff, like slave labor in them. Which was a bit more focused on character development, shit like that. Character development. There we go. There's a word. I'm not sure how to shade these now. Render. There's the word. Was there a cliffhanger comic line? I never. What they do? They did like Battle Chasers and I guess Danger Girl, right? Was there more than that? Crimson. I was never a fan of Crimson. Steampunk was. Is that the one by Paul Smith? It feels like maybe. Oh, Bacalo. Yes. Shit, I should have bought that. I was always a big fan of Bacalo. Oh well. I think. Oh no, I'm thinking of Leave It to Chance for Paul Smith, which is very different, I believe. Bacalo at his most incomprehensible. That does sound intriguing. Jesus Christ, this torso is ridiculous. Oh yeah, okay. That sounds like it's worth investigating the steampunk stuff then. Just to see what he did. Because I've seen some of his later stuff on like I guess Doctor Strange is later, right? That was just like a 2015 or something like that. I have like a few trades of that. I always like that stuff. And it does seem a little bit dialed back from some of his other stuff. This entire stream is just going to be me drawing this panel, I think. Oh, yeah, maybe like retract that a little bit. Ah, interesting. Trencher levels of confusing. It's like, ooh. I have to say, with my Trencher revisit, I felt a little bad that I wasn't just like reveling in this ridiculous style. But it's like, you know what? It's Keith Giffen. We know he can write and like write fairly well, fairly easily. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't try to do that. Although it was probably because he was he was probably making a point of some kind. I guess I just wasn't, I wasn't a big fan of that point, or didn't think it needed to be made, or something. I think we talked about this. Drawing a sign in the background that just says "Greats." Not on this page. I don't really need to do it on this one. Um, there are going to be several great heavy pages. I would like to do that, but I don't think it's quite appropriate on this one. It did totally work on Trencher, and like I'd really love to be able to get away with that, but I don't think I can. For one thing, I think you need to have, you need to be someone like Keith Giffen who's built up a bit of goodwill. I don't feel like I've really done that. Like maybe with you guys, but like, let's see, there's 6 of us here right now. I feel like I need to add more rendering to his face because otherwise, although you get kind of that bodybuilder thing where the body is extremely dark and then the face is like not so much. But no, I'm sure he hits a tanning bed every now and then. Yeah, just a little bit less creepy. Hey, Radoms, how's it going? Oh fuck, I do have a. I'm like, do I have a lot of Wetworks videos? Like, no shit, I do. There's like 5 of them or 6 maybe. I don't know if I went to 6. I'm glad somebody enjoys those enough to binge watch it. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it was 1 to 5. Yeah. By doing the thing where you comment on how ridiculous something is by doing exactly the same, and the joke is so subtle. Yes. So RoboCop. a lot of people it's aimed at don't get it. Or Starship Troopers, even. Montoya, discuss. As we're talking about films now. I think that is kind of what he was doing. Since it is just like a mindless slugfest kind of thing, like there's no way that would have been satisfying for Keith Giffen as just like, yeah, no, this is what I want to draw now. I don't think. So I wouldn't be surprised if like he thought it would be funny to have a character who would who was poking fun at Image style comics in while being employed by Image. And then just like it just wasn't quite Image enough to really drive sales, I guess. And plus, it sounds like he got bored with it fairly quick afterwards. Yeah, satire's tough. Like being so dry and tongue in cheek that most people like the point of it is that you know you really got to pay attention to notice that, oh wait, no, they're making fun of this a little bit, or a lot. But and yeah, I do think that was kind of the point of something like Trencher, but it was very subtle. Well, I guess maybe not that subtle with stuff like the nasal python, but you know, there was like no winking at the camera whatsoever, which is always you get in trouble in that neighborhood. Like I feel like my stuff is it's a little bit more blatant. Yeah, you bet, man. I'll be here for a little while longer at least. We're gonna at least finish this panel today. I was not expecting it to be taking this long. Which I guess means I thought that like Stephen Platt was just being a self-indulgent douche by taking weeks, months on an issue. It's like shit, man. How hard is it to make lines? Like, well, it's not hard. It just takes a while. The Forever Musketeer, exactly. Yeah. I maybe took like 15 minutes at the beginning to get like a rough layout for the page, and then it's pretty much just all been this panel since then. It's kind of been insane. Oh, both of them will be that kind of veiny. Um, it's just I wanted to get that in there to kind of get an idea of what it was going to look like eventually. Okay, yes, okay. So you got to remember, I first of all, I'm not great with interpreting sarcasm through text in particular. By all means, keep at it. Just be aware that I sometimes won't grab it right away. Yeah, I think I really did think I was gonna just like zip through this thing and be like pretty much done the page in one day. Now it's starting to feel like I might not be able to get it done this week the way my schedule goes. Yeah, I know. I do the same thing all the time. That's why I don't like. I would. Oh man, I go on some streams and I like make some kind of just dry comment, and then they'd respond as if it was real, and then I couldn't explain it to them fast enough before, like, because there'd be too many people talking. And it's like shit. Now they just think I think that. That is one of the good things about a comic stream, is knowing that most of the people on there are probably the same kind of dorky you are, or similar anyway. Like, it's nice because I also go on hockey live streams, and like, it's like, it's like speaking similar languages, but like having very different accents. Yeah, Galaxy Quest is very good for that. By all means, let's get back to Portasio. Well, I mean, with Wetworks, it's tough because it is already several movies. It's Predator, it's Terminator 2, it's it's Blade. Yeah, it is kind of, yeah. His fin didn't get quite as starched as usual. Yeah, well, I mean, Portasio was extremely good at that kind of stuff. He's extremely good at a lot of things, but like that kind of just like cool tech and stuff, that's like one of the things he's kind of best at. Okay. Let's see here. See if we can find anything that works here. The back of the hand. Oh my god. I look up like fist vascularity and it shows like the underside of the hand. It's like, that's not useful. I have to make up what this punch looks like. God damn it. Or the fist looks like. He is looking a bit like Carl. Shit, you're right. Okay, let's see here. Excuse me. Hey, don't disrespect gun show like that. Let's see. Nope, get back. That's not particularly helpful. Well, that works. Okay, let's see here. So I can just always do this again as veins, like regular doing the whiteout veins. I don't know if it's necessary, but never be caught with 2 R's. I was a fan of that. I enjoyed that. Oh, that you still got the forearm. Fuck's sake. That's the one I missed. God damn it. Maybe I'll do like extra vein work on around the hand. Like there's the main veins here. Yeah, and there's no real reason to do that beforehand. We'll do it afterwards as whiteout. And then we'll do lots more little veins that shouldn't necessarily be there. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense really. It's okay. There will be whiteout over this. Yeah, okay. The switching works from military to regular super. Yeah, that is the problem because like that was what set you apart. Yeah, nobody wants to read about Christ. Yeah, Wetworks is like regular superheroes after all the weird military stuff and the weird vampire stuff. It's like just to like merge them into like the Wildstorm universe, which is what they eventually did. Yeah, that is disappointing. I never really thought about that. I never read that far ahead. I think number 6 was as far as I ever read before. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. None of those comics really worked very well beyond the concepts, or at least they couldn't make them work very well anyway. Sorry, just looking for a template here. Might be able to find it. Maybe not. I think I got it here. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mind that the way they kept changing them. I thought that was kind of cool because I mean, if you have just 7 gold guys, it it's off center, isn't it? Shit, yeah, it is. It like they all get way too samey, way too quick. What does this look like here? I do recall. I mean, I know where that was going. That was not Dozer, was it? No, it was Dozer, I think, because he was the one who was all um, obsessed with like working out and getting big and that kind of stuff. And then the suits kind of act like monkey's paw genies, and he was already like huge by issue. I want to say it was like 4, and we didn't see any kind of transition in between either, which was I remember that now. Yeah, it's like all of a sudden he was huge, and it's like, oh, okay, fuck. There wasn't like a moment where he got kind of big at first, which probably should have happened. And yeah, Pilgrim, I think, who was the sniper woman, she became like invisible kind of. Grail had his whole thing where he turned blue, which was nice to differentiate him. Joker apparently becomes like a shape changer, and that's the whole thing with the cup of coffee falling through his arm. And I thought that was a neat idea, having them all like just kind of evolve. I don't know how well it was executed though. Probably not very. I think all the Image guys assumed they could write just as well as writers, or close enough that it didn't make a difference. It's like, well, maybe close enough so it didn't make a difference for sales, but like, from creating good comics, not so much. Yeah, like a psychological thing. Yeah, exactly. Anytime, man. Did Pilgrim have a Predator suit? Again, I think that's probably further along than I read. Oh yeah, we've been. It's been a busy day. Which guy? Those are yeah. Because we never saw it on panel. Is the thing. There should have been some sort of in the issue before. It's like, wait a minute, why is my arm weirdly large? And then, like Steele said, it's like, well, you're overworking one. So that kind of, but like, no, there's something wrong here. Okay, let's try and do this the vein work here. Because well, I guess we should probably set a panel border. That's probably smart. Plus, standing up every once in a while also probably smart. Yeah. Does it look okay? I'm not familiar with the Heavenly Demon Don Quixote's pirate flag. You can pretty much always assume that unless I call it out myself, I'm not familiar with it. That sounds like an anime thing. You're the you dig on the anime. I remember that now. Oh, is it from One Piece? Oh, okay. There you go then. Yeah, that would be yes. A few people are probably familiar with that. I have never watched any One Piece or read any. I have no intention to. Ninja Scroll, I have seen a few times. That was one of the first. Well, that and Akira were like the first anime movies where it was like, shit, I need to get into this. And then I didn't see anything else that was. I think at that point it was starting to get popular, and there was too much selection. And it's like, oh fuck, no, I'm out. Never mind. I thought I was ready. I was incorrect. You were never a big okay. Yeah, watching 3 episodes and then heard they were celebrating the 1,000. Yeah, it's like, oh, I will never catch up. Okay, good to know. See ya. I wasn't. I don't know. There were always elements of Akira that I really liked, but there weren't as many of them when I was younger. And then I watched it again recently. It's like, oh no, okay, I like this quite a bit more now. One of the interesting things about it is that they hadn't gotten close to completing the comic when they made the movie. So, they made the movie that had the full arc of the comic, and then, or what was planned, from what I understand, anyway. And then when they were completing in the comic, they were having, better ideas along the way and had stuff that they wanted to flesh out. So it actually ends up being a pretty, like, the beginning, I think, is very similar, and then towards the end, it gets very different. Gungrave sounds familiar. I have no idea what it looks like, though. Yeah, now we're just saying things I don't know about, so I'll let you guys go. you can go right ahead. While I figure out what veins I'm putting down here. Yeah, these things don't make for the best pencils, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of alternatives. I can use the Poscas, but only for like a minute or two, well, for a line or two, really, and then they start to go really gray because of all the ink. So we'll try that a little bit. Yeah, it's already going there. It might not matter, like, in terms of reproduction. Portasio doing a zombie book, I wouldn't, yeah. You need somebody who does sloppy. I mean, I guess you can make like a glitzy zombie book, and I'm sure some people would dig it, but nah, I wouldn't be a fan myself. Yeah, that's not going to show up. Jaylee would have done a pretty crazy zombie book. For sure. Another guy, Mark Teixeira. I think he would have done a great zombie book. I honestly, the thing bugs me is that we never got Mark Teixeira's vampire book. I think that would have been amazing. Yeah, that's true about horror guys being good ink artists. Well, you kind of have to learn a few techniques, right? It's like I would like to be a horror artist, but I don't think I know enough about that kind of thing. Let's see what the vascularity here. Not a whole lot on the backs, eh? How are we looking? Well, everybody likes a different feel, right? I mean, if there, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Something, I'm sure. Can't talk and ink and draw at the same time sometimes. I was considering doing veins on his face. I don't think I'm going to do very much. I think just the one here, the forehead vein. Too late. I already saw it. Okay, so yeah, that'll be interesting to turn into slightly more realistic vein work. not a lot of room in here. That one's going to be a little tough. Yeah, this is going to be the entire drawing here, I think, basically. It's just like all veins all the time. That was the point of doing all the texture rendering there. There aren't really a lot of like pectoral veins, are there? Or like not at the surface anyway. Not a ton. I guess we're just kind of making these up for the most part. I mean, you know, I did warn you guys with the title that it was going somewhere. Okay, let's see. So this will be the next hour, is trying to turn these into more than just, streaks all over the page. And then I'll probably be done once I've done this panel. Fuck's sake. Anything I'm missing here? Not so much, I don't think. No, not quite. No, we're not going to get to number one, number two jokes. By all means, worth mentioning on in the live stream, but probably not going to make it to the page. No. Looking, it's interesting. Okay. All right, so we're just making up our own. This is like the Blood Force fan wiki is getting a little disturbing. Oh, hey, Carmen. Yeah, I don't know. People have been talking for a while. I didn't realize people left. I've just been like doing veins and shit and trying to keep up a little bit with the conversation. All right, I'm going to ignore steals there. Probably similar Dollar Tree and shit. It's nothing big generally. I'm trying to think of what we have. I mean, obviously it's localized, but and we don't have a whole lot out here because it's just a small town. Yes, they have Canadian dollar stores. You can buy even less than them than you can in American dollar stores. Well, no, it's just that dollar store doesn't fucking mean anything. Go there and buy shit for $5.99. It's just cheap, like it's cheap quality. I'm sure they have the same thing, but not sure if you can get it. I don't know. Hockey pucks are a little bit expensive, I think. Got to go Canadian Tire for that, which is kind of a hardware oriented Walmart essentially. Yeah, looking pretty. Shit. Every time I look over here, it's like it takes a second to kick in. Like, oh my god, what am I drawing? Just realizing how far down these, like how large the forearms are here. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't where it ends. It doesn't. No, it doesn't have to go specifically from this level, from panel to panel. This is the big Unleash the Vein Work panel, right? But it is going to be at an increased rate from here. And knowing how long this panel is taking me now is making me rethink that, actually. But I don't think, I think it still needs it. Okay, and this one here as well. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. That's good. I think I probably still would have done this even if I didn't have the feedback. Wasn't planning on what the reaction would be. It's just like, no, this is what it's going to look like. All right. But no, I do appreciate that. I'm tempted to have this one vein, these veins here, continue over the panel borders, but no, I think that just looks like you're whiting it out then at that point. Miss anything? I mean, probably. Take a quick look around. I think it looks all right. Paneling, yeah, no, that is true. That wouldn't make for an interesting transition to the cover. Yeah, it does ruin the surprise if we're worried about that. I don't know that I am really, but. Excuse me. Okay, so let's take care of the panels around. Oh my god, my ass is just flattened. Excuse me. Where's my ruler at? Oh, that's it right there, of course. Dumbass. All right. Do I have a metal one around here? It'd kind of be useful around now. There it is. All right, okay. Thanks for stopping by, man. Well, stopping by. You were here for like the first 3 hours. I appreciate that. I think this should go to here instead, actually. So, oh, gotta do the fan on his head as well. Do I have like a bowl or something I can use here? Let me see. I don't have too many. So unless it's like exact, which no, not quite. I mean, no, because then I'll pretty much cover. Yeah, I want them to be sticking out from it a little bit at least. I got the older ones. Still a little bit too big. That's not even a circle. No, that's gonna be too wide. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to fake it. Was I saying Hockey Channel guys can't take a joke? No, but it's more like, I don't know. If I were to say, I don't know. if I were to try to make a joke, it wouldn't land necessarily. It just kind of gets, lost on the wayside sometimes. And, people don't know what to do with it, and enough people are talking that it just kind of, you go on without addressing it. I guess that's just most chats, though. I guess we don't want to do a full circle, do we? We just want to have everything end there. That's generally how Walt works. It doesn't look very good, but okay. That's a little better. Pen's dying, too much to use it. No, way too small. Oh, the string tied to the pen. No, that's okay. No, I think I'm not going to actually do it as a solid line, now that I think about it. And then from here, I think we're just doing straight speed lines now. Oh, but I should probably get a fucking vanishing point of some kind before maybe should have done it before I did the speed lines, but I don't know. Okay. That seems a little bit too low. I want it around here. Theoretically, that should be the point there. Right around here. That's going to be a little bit far off, isn't it? A little bit. I could probably fix it. Okay, calm down. We're going to need to go over and over this point. So I would like you to be dry. Thank you. Oh, man. Is Simonson one of my favorites? He is getting there. Yes. Yeah. No, definitely. Didn't really. I didn't see enough of his stuff back in the day to really be able to speak on it. But like now that I'm getting there, like yeah, no, it is quite spectacular. But yeah, like enough that Simonton is enough one of my favorites now that he's his Fantastic Four Artist Edition is now the second one of those I bought. And I'm gonna have to look through that more, but so far it's pretty spectacular, and it's one of those artist editions that gives you like complete, not just complete issues, but like complete storylines, pretty much. I got pretty much the entire end of time storyline as well as the TVA storyline, I think, which is fucking wild. And it's one of the less expensive artist editions as well, which is great. For Simonson, yeah, the Thor one is the one he's always is the first thing people always talk about. But he also has a great run on Fantastic Four, which I'm currently in the middle of covering. I did do the first. I've done the first 6 issues of that run. Well, no, not the whole first 6 issues, but 6 issues of the run, including a 5-issue storyline, and we're on the second 4 or 5 issue storyline. Apart from that, he has his own creator-owned thing called Star Slammers. He has another one called Ragnarok, which is about a very different take on Thor. Because I mean, like, you know, he was working on Thor not just because it was a job, but because he really digs on Nordic mythology. And he's got a lot of other small projects that he did. Yeah, Manhunter is one that gets brought up. There was the, what is that? The Judas coin, which looked interesting. Somebody brought that up at a live stream. He also did Frank Miller's RoboCop 2, I believe, which is fucking insane from what I've seen. I can't remember too much more offhand. Apart from the odd like fill in and stuff. Ah, okay, I'll have to check that out. Batman 366. It's one of the really good things about these live streams is like just finding out shit I should be following up on that I don't know about. because I'm not going to go to somebody's Facebook page or message board or whatever. Messed, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Shit. Okay. That was going to be the odd one. It doesn't quite match up. I got to switch this out because it's old enough now that it's giving me a double line, which is, I mean, sometimes fine for day to day, but not for stuff like this where I have to, it's bad enough having to do like 300 speed lines. I don't want to have to do them all twice. Was there another one open? There was. Okay. There we go. I even got a thinner line out of it. Slightly. Oh. Come on. Gosh, shit. Come on. There we go. Just realized I left a bit too much of a space between two of these little curlicue things. Come on. Okay, well, that's the one side done at least. Holy shit. This fucking panel. This should be my new banner on YouTube. The problem is I can't fit enough of it in for it to be. It feels like it wouldn't be worth it. Yeah. Getting there. That should be a bit more like it. I will put this up on the Discord at least afterwards. So if you guys have any recommendations in future, feel free to stop by. I think I'm getting a little hungry. A grate with veins. Fuck off, man. Ugh. Okay. I think that's all right. Let's get rid of some of this. I'm not going to be able to erase anything in the figure here because of all the whiteout. I'll just smear everything. I'm getting a little close on the edges. I can already see it happening in one or two spots. Is that it? Might be it for now. Okay. And where'd my, okay, the whiteout thing here. Oh yes, thank you. The vanishing point. Appreciate it. Fuck. What does it even look like before? Oh, it doesn't look like a vanishing point anymore anyway. All right. Maybe like a little bit more. I like these the whiteout circles. It's like shit. That needs to be in everything. Maybe I should cut it out now. Maybe I'm overdoing it. Just looking at it on the screen here, that looks kind of fucking sick. Jesus. I don't think I knew I had that panel in me. Maybe I should put like on something that says he's got a costume over this. I think it's just like, Yeah, I don't think we need to put in the little design things. That'll just be, it won't make it, it'll be a little distracting. And it won't make it look any better. So fuck it. I don't think it was the first one panel stream. I think the first one panel stream was at the one of all the clerk walking in the great filled hallway. This one was a lot more fun. If I'm gonna sit here for a one panel, one stream panel, or one, the other one panel stream. No, I much prefer how this one went. All right, so I am going to call that a stream. Go get something to eat and like sit somewhere that's a bit more cushioned. Oh, the Discord. I think it's in the description on this one. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? It should be listed as a note on the page as well. Let me go to my page here. I'll copy and paste it in here. Eventually. Under community, there we go. Somebody already have done it. Yeah, there is. And there's that one there too. So I think you should be able to get through there. If for some reason that doesn't work, because last time I tried this, it did eventually turn to not public anymore. Just let me know. Actually, you know what? If you guys want to, like try it out right now and just let me know if it works. Or, I'll go in the Discord and see if you show up. Yeah. Because if it doesn't work, then I'll at least know to put out a new link. There we go. All right, still works. Excellent. All right. So yeah, everybody left. Not too many of us now. That's okay. Just the hardcores. Thank you very much for sticking around this long, and for all your words of encouragement. you don't always know if you're doing the right thing when you do a panel like this. Yeah, I figured because it was right at that time. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord or at the live stream on Wednesday. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll catch you next time. Yep. Bye.